So yeah, hi, I'm Matthew Ogle. I'm the founder of This Is My Jam. Want to use today to tell you guys just a quick story about what we've been working on lately. And the story is going to be called This Is My Jam and the Greatest Songs of All Time, or alternate title came up with late last night, which is 3 thumb drives and a desert island. We'll get to that part. So the story begins here in London about 2.5 years ago now, and like many stories about starting things or new ideas based in London, this story starts with us having a proper old complain down at the pub. And what we were complaining about back in 2012 is something you can still complain about today if you want. And it's about the state of song sharing online, which is fragmented across lots of services. It's lacking in context, and it's often very ephemeral. So we'd see a lot of friends, people whose taste we love, throwing YouTube links onto Twitter and Facebook. Then when you actually are ready to hear it, you can't find it. It's, from 8 hours ago, it's gone. There's all these great playlist services, Spotify being a prominent one, that represent tons of effort and hand curation. But when you get to them, it's often just like a spreadsheet. There's no real context for why the tracks are there, what order they're in, and all the other things that you can sometimes get when humans make a mix for you. And finally, you can see sort of on the right side there, often music that we're consuming now just gets piped into Facebook or Last.fm or other services like that. But it's really hard to tell if that's just an album your friend left on overnight or if it's something where you should stop everything and check it out. So we built Jam to improve this. And that's what we do. Jam sort of takes these existing fragmented behaviors around song sharing and improves them, but more importantly, connects people to more songs that they'll love after a song has been shared. We wanted to do this in a way that was focused and that didn't add to all the noise and create another service you have to check every 5 seconds or update every 5 minutes. So we decided to build it all around a simple question, which is this: what's your favorite song right now? So what you do is you take that song, the one song right now that's stuck in your head that you're into, you bring it to us, and we give you a whole screen for it. We let you customize it. You can make it visual. You can tell a story. And we make it really easy to just share that song out to all the places you might want to appear. So it shows up on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, in our Spotify app, etc. But what's really cool about this is the network effect that you get when thousands of people are doing this, say, once a week, saying, right now, of all the songs out there, this one, is you get an incredible network with a catalog where every single song on the service, on Jam at any moment in time, has been handpicked and sort of vouched for by someone. And this lets us act as a filter, cutting through the millions and millions of tracks. It's never been a better time to be a music fan. But we're the place where the good stuff ends up. And we think of it a bit like Top 40 Radio, where every song's a hit, except, of course, it's broader than that. You can personalize it. There's more diversity of music on the service. So that's the problem we're trying to solve and how we're tackling it. So it's 2 years later, it's 2014. We've got this great community of people who really care about music, and they're sharing songs that are important to them. And to go back to that question, what's your favorite song right now? People on Jam have now answered that nearly 2 million times. That's about 200,000 different people have come back to answer that question 2 million times. And we started Jam thinking this is not about big data, it's not about algorithms, it's about people, it's about slowness, it's about hand-picking things. But after 2 years, we're kind of looking at that, going 2 million hand-picked song choices. That's a lot of data. So we started scratching at it earlier this year. We did an experiment just at a hack day. We were at Music Hack Day in Midem in France. And we built something called That One Song. And the idea with this was you give us one band name or artist name, and then we'll rifle through all the jams for you and say, OK, everyone seems to agree this is the song you should listen to. This is your entry point into the artist. This is their best one. And because, of course, choosing one is controversial, we kind of took inspiration from old 45s and gave you a B-side choice as well. And we looked for songs that were not posted nearly as often as the A-side, but that still did really well when they were shared on Jam. So yeah, you type in Grimes, you get Oblivion, but you can also get Vanessa as a second option. Glad there's already been a Steely Dan reference today. You can get Peg if you type Steely Dan into that one song, but if you really want to grow your hair out, it's Haitian Divorce. And you can start to see we were building this, and we were doing it very quickly, but we were actually kind of bowled over by all the context and richness that people had put into choosing their song. And so you can see there's lots of comments, people saying things about it, lots of imagery. And as we worked on that one song and built it out and saw the response it was getting, it really got our gears turning, and that was how what we now call the song graph was born. So what is the song graph on Jam? The song graph takes those 2 million jams that have been handpicked. We then did some work to deduplicate them, go, okay, there's 2 million jams, but some of those are the same song. How many actual songs do we have here? Turns out the number is just north of 500,000 songs, so 550,000 songs. But these aren't just 550,000 arbitrary songs. Of course, these are the 500,000 best songs of all time. Every single song is in that list because someone took the trouble to say, of everything out there, it's this one for me right now. So we're pretty happy with that 500,000 songs. And then we thought, why limit ourselves to 1 or 2 tracks per artist? Why don't we light up a new screen, basically a new page on Jam for every single one of these 500,000 songs? So that is why I got very little sleep last week. We were soft launching that. That's just come out. You can't quite show up to This Is My Jam yet and type in any song and see this yet. What we've done for the soft launch is we're linking it contextually. So we've also opened up the complete history of all the jams that all of our members have posted. And through that, you can basically access all these songs. And we had a lot of fun building this too, because this is like your personal greatest hits record wall. So this is Hans Jam, my co-founder Hannah Donovan. And there's other information you get, like were you the first person to bring this song to This Is My Jam, or do you share it with hundreds of people, or anything in between? So that's been really cool. These new song screens, they look like this, and you can go left and right through everyone's jams. They're very visual, it makes it easy to play it, you can love it. But more importantly, we wanted to kind of surround songs with the human context that is so often missing online. So we go way out of our way to highlight, all right, these are the people you follow, and among those people, here are the folks that are into this song that you're looking at now. We also try to open up all the comment threads and descriptions and stories that were told around that song. So here's a Sam Cooke track, for example. 168 people have made it their jam, and this is what each of them said when they did that. But most importantly, on Jam, we really want to make sure that every time you give something to the community by saying, hey, check out this song, you get something back. So these new song screens are a gateway into more music that you might love. In particular, we look at jams posted really recently that are related to the song you're looking at and highlight those, and you can get them in a playlist form, as well as browsing more songs by that artist and sort of seeing just the best stuff by any artist as chosen by the Jam community. So everything I've just shown you, these aren't mock-ups. Those are all live screenshots taken in the last couple of days, so it's all live. If you go to thisismyjam.com and sign up and post a jam, you'll then be able to get into these new song screens. And we have a bunch more releases around songs coming, so we'd love feedback at this stage. So anyone who has played with it, or if you want to play with it, and then shoot me an email or find me on Twitter, we'd love to get more feedback about these new songs. Something funny happened. Last week, we also got some nice coverage of it. Users really responded to it well. And we got a few good press hits out of the Songgraph soft launch. But this headline stuck out to me, and it really, I think, speaks to how music has changed in the last 15 years, in particular with the advent of online music. There's this Guardian article which says, "This Is My Jam stays small and sweet with 500,000 song pages." And I just love that these days a catalog of 500,000 songs is small. 25 years ago, a radio station that had a catalog of 5,000 songs, that would be an unfathomably large playlist. And here we are in an era where a playlist of 500,000 songs is on the small and sweet side, which I think just speaks to how there's never been a better time to be a music fan. But there's also a huge challenge in finding the good stuff, and hopefully what we're doing is connecting people to just the best songs. Alex Hearn is the journalist who wrote this piece, and he asked me a question during the interview, which I thought was funny, and I kept thinking about it, and he said, so what you're basically saying is, these are the 500,000 songs you would take to a desert island. And I stopped and thought about it, and I was like, yeah, like if you had an island and a good good stereo and these 500,000 jams, I mean, that would be a party for the rest of your life. You'd be, yes, these are exactly the 500,000 songs you would take to a desert island. And then he said, oh, okay, cool, and then didn't use it in the piece and probably stopped thinking about it. But I'm an engineer at heart, so I did not stop thinking about it. So how would you take these 500,000 songs to a desert island? Could you actually do this? Turns out, yes. So if you manage to find an MP3 of every song in our song graph, I ran the numbers. It's 563,000 songs, assuming it's about 5 meg each. You can actually fit that into 2.8 terabytes, so just under 3,000 gigabytes, which sounds like a lot, but remember, it's the modern world. It's 2014. So this is the Kingston HyperX Predator. Just come out. It fits on your keychain. It costs about 600 quid, but if you can splash out for it, it stores a terabyte of data on your keychain. It's a USB key, 1,024 gig on it. So what I'm thinking is, to go back to the desert island, you just get 3 of these guys, fill them up with the 550,000 songs, get to the island, but then the question is, how long does this party last? So I ran those numbers too, and it turns out that if you assume most of the songs average out at pop song length, you've basically got 4 continuous years of the greatest songs of all time, assuming you play every song exactly once, and you're playing the music 24/7. But given that these are the 500,000 greatest songs of all time, I think it's safe to say you'll be listening to these songs more than once. In the meantime, though, I'd love to find out what your favorite song is. Love your feedback on the song screens, and if anyone has 600 quid they want to lend me, I have an island to get to. So, thank you.